Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to BBallBreakdown. Do not miss all the wonderful things going on our .com side. Terrific NBA analysis there, but also during this week and in the weeks that follow, we have some incredible writing and analysis on the NCAA tournament, March Madness. Plus, I'll be doing breakdowns as well on the video side, so don't miss a minute of our great coverage going forward on March Madness. Well, now let's talk about the Thunder versus Mavericks from last night because I want to show you some key plays in the third quarter where the Mavericks exposed some real issues with the Thunder's pick and roll defense. Could very well be that Cantor and Singler and these guys are all new and they don't know the schemes yet, but if they don't clean it up real fast, you're going to see all the other good teams exploit these issues, completely getting open shots throughout the rest of this season and into the playoffs. And if the Thunder don't clean it up, they're not going to make the playoffs. One key decision or two key decisions down the stretch could cost you a game is what happened last night as well. And if Coach Brooks can't raise the level of IQ high enough and improve the decision making by guys like Russell Westbrook enough, then they're going to be on the outside looking in. Let's start by looking at the 39-point third quarter by the Mavericks, where they shot 64% from the field, led by Dirk's 13 points and Chandler Parsons' 10. Let's not overlook JJ Barea's team-high plus 15 while playing 9 minutes. The pick and roll devastated the Thunder defense in this stretch, and we've seen OKC ice the pick and roll in the past, where Russ would force Rondo away from the screen towards the baseline. Instead, he goes underneath the screen, which isn't a bad idea against the awful shooting Rondo, but it does allow Rondo to get a full head of steam going to the rim for a layup. Here's an example of Enes Kanter being completely ineffectual defending the rim. Rick Carlisle is very smart not only in his play calling, but in his specific positioning of his players. By putting Dirk on the right wing, he knows Steven Adams cannot help, and having Barea in the corner leaves only Westbrook as the last line of defense. Kanter comes up way too high on his hedge, allowing a straight line drive to Tyson Chandler for the slam. Here's the same play, and Steven Adams tries to give the slightest help on the roll man, and that just gives Dirk way more room than he needs to knock down a wide open jumper. Dirk is even more devastating in the pick and pop, especially since the Thunder tend to high hedge and switch this often. Once Barea gets Adams on him, Russ simply cannot run back to switch on him. He must stay home on Dirk. This is a huge mistake, and Dirk makes them pay again. On this high pick and roll, Russ can't get around the good Villanueva screen, forcing the switch. Russ seems to want to switch back again, but ends up drifting into no man's land, and he takes a bad angle on his closeout, giving up a straight line drive. He then makes matters even worse, trying the playground reach around, which rarely works against pros. And again, it's Kanter's rotation to defend the rim, and he doesn't even get his hand up. Here's a very common pick and roll action. Set a down screen for the ball screener first. It usually causes the ball screener's man to be behind the play, but poor positioning causes Kanter to run into his own man. This forces a switch, but it's all a bit of misdirection. Watch Villanueva's cut bring Adams away from the rim. The switch on the ball screen already had Kanter above the circle, and it's a simple curl for Parsons for the beautiful one-handed slam with no big defenders near the rim. A quick lesson in transition defense. Oftentimes, your man isn't the guy you had been guarding in the half court. Russ turns his back on the ball, then doesn't sprint to pick up Stoudemire, who is his man, and ends up getting wide open for the layup. More pick and roll problems for the Thunder defense. If they're going to go underneath the screen, there is simply no reason at all for Kanter to hedge and bump the ball handler. He should stay glued to Dirk the whole time. A guard closing out on the German means 9 to him. This isn't a replay, folks. The very next play, the same exact thing happens. The Thunder are going to have to clean up this major problem. This time, Kanter does stay glued to Dirk as Waiters goes underneath the screen. But watch Singler needlessly and foolishly rotate down to Stoudemire even though McGarry was standing right there. With his slow foot speed, he can't close out in time. Let's move to crunch time where the Thunder are now down 2. This is a weird play where Augustine cuts across, then is followed immediately by Adams, but it leads to a nice high pick and roll for Russ, who attacks Chandler and nails a nice hop step back from 15 feet. The Mavericks come back with one of their oldest plays, a simple pin down for Dirk to catch at the free throw line. The Thunder switch this, and Cantor does a very nice job pressuring Dirk into a miss. But watch the scrum down low. If you can explain to me how the ref can definitely call this on Adams, you're better than me at this. Down 2 with lots of time left, this is where decision-making Russ can struggle. They run horns, which has some nice action in it usually, but instead Russ gets a sliver of daylight and pulls up for a 20-footer with 16 seconds left on the shot clock. However, Cantor saves the day by grabbing the rebound of the almost air ball. Again, you tell me how this shove in the back by Chandler wasn't a foul on him. Having Chandler Parsons back really helps the Mavericks take advantage of mismatches. His synergy numbers are awesome in the pick and roll, and because he's out on top, it puts Rondo down low, meaning a tiny DJ Augustine is the guy rotating to help protect the rim. More pick and roll defense troubles. There is no way Cantor should come up this high to hedge on the pick and roll. Parsons easily blows by him, and look at the excellent finish. A left-right Euro step finish with a righty jump hook soft off the rim. Down by 4, the Thunder inbound the ball and let Russ attack from the top. 2 things. This is really bad footwork by Westbrook, jumping off the right foot going to his right. To me, this is clearly not an example of a wrong-footed layup, since he's going too fast to get any sort of lift from it. That said, the same referee calls a charge on him, and while the left arm comes out a little bit at the end, this is clearly a foul on Rondo, if anything. With a minute left, there's plenty of time for the Thunder, but the one thing they cannot do is commit a silly foul in the backcourt 75 feet away from the hoop. But this is exactly what Russ does, and to make matters worse, it was his 6th foul. Down 6 points, it's still a 2-possession game, but the Thunder don't run anything, just 5 guys standing around the perimeter. Naturally, they get a very tough 3-point shot, and when Parsons gets the rebound with 45 seconds left, the Thunder let 7 precious seconds run off the clock before Coach Brooks can get them organized enough to foul. But Monte misses both of these free throws, and the Thunder are still in decent position. That said, I never really understand why teams run an out-of-bounds play where they completely take one of their players off the court. However, Morrow hits a tough 3, and now they're right there with time to get a stop and another shot at a 3. Here's where it gets interesting. The Thunder need only play defense as they get the ball back with at least 12 seconds left. You can kind of hear something from the bench about not fouling.
Now up ahead to Ellis.
However, yelling "no foul" in a crowded arena could easily be misinterpreted as foul to a rookie, and this is exactly what McGarry does. This is a boneheaded play, and you can be sure the Thunder let him have it after the game. The Thunder were forced to foul after scoring quickly, and the Mavs were able to hit their free throws down the stretch to seal the game.